Once upon a time, stories from Leicester Libraries Neighbourhood Services. I've got a story to tell you today. It's a creepy one, so get your security blanket ready. It's called The Long Boney Finger. It was a lazy sort of a Saturday afternoon, but everyone in Sam's family seemed to have something to be getting on with. His sister was busy writing songs for her new band. Mum was in the garden planting broad beans, and Dad was in the kitchen preparing an elaborate feast for guests expected later that evening. And Sam was bored. It was the first decent spring day after a wet winter, and he did not want to be inside watching telly. He didn't want to play on his PlayStation. He didn't even want to be curled up with a book. He wanted to be out, but he wanted a friend to play with. Now, unfortunately, Sam and his family lived a mile out of town in an isolated cottage, and his best friend Bav, he lived up and over the hill and on the edge of town. Sam tried Mum. "Mum, I'm bored," he says. "Please pop me over to Bav's. I'm bored, I want something to do, I want someone to play with." "I'm sorry, darling," she said. "It's the first decent day we've had. I need to get these plants in." So Sam tried Dad. "Dad, I'm bored. Will you please pop me over to Bav's?" "I'm sorry, Sam, mate. I can't. We're expecting guests this evening and I've got my work cut out to have this food on the table. It's complicated, this recipe. I'm sorry, mate." Sam says, "Well, can't I just go on my own?" His dad says, "Oh, I don't know, Sam. Up and over that hill and through those woods all on your own? I don't know. I'm not sure." "Oh, come on, Dad. I know those woods like the back of my hand," says Sam. "Come on, I know my way. And anyway, you can phone ahead and tell them I'm coming." "Go on then, I'll give them a call." Well, no sooner had his dad put the phone down for making the arrangement that Sam's on the way out the door with his coat on. His dad says, "Hang on a minute, young man, hang on. Now just you remember, I want you back before it gets dark. It's all very well you going up and over that hill and through those woods in the daylight, but that ancient woodland, it's a whole different world at night." Yes, Dad, don't worry about me. No, I'll be fine. I'll be back before dark." And he was off, up the winding path, through the woods on the top of the hill and down the path the other side to Bav's house, where they spent the afternoon doing what young lads do, playing jokes, pranking around, getting on Bav's mum's nerves so much that she chased them out the house with a roti pan, until they went and played football with some other lads on the field behind Bav's house. And Sam lost track of time. By the time he looked up, the sun was just dipping and touching that dark line of trees on the top of the hill. "Oh no, what am I going to do? My dad's going to kill me. I'm going to have to go, Bav. I'm sorry, mate, I'm off." And off he went, up the hill at a run. By the time he reached the top of the hill, the sun was dipping behind the horizon and it was just getting dark. And he entered those woodlands. He could hear animals scurrying around in the undergrowth. He hoped they were small animals. He hoped they weren't big animals. And he heard, on the path behind him, the sound of footsteps. And a voice from the darkness that said, "What can I do with my long, bony finger and my big rubbery lips?" And Sam thought, "I don't want to know what you can do with your long bony finger and your big rubbery lips." And he started to run. But the footsteps on the path behind him, they also speeded up and started to run. And the voice said again, "What can I do with my long bony finger and my big rubbery lips?" And I thought, "I don't want to know what you can do with your long bony finger and your big rubbery lips." And he ran and he ran and he ran and he burst out of the woods at the top of the hill and he tripped and he went head over heels down and down and down. But the footsteps were still behind him on the path. And out of the darkness came a voice. "What can I do with my long bony finger and my big rubbery lips? And so I don't want to know what you can do with your long bony finger. And he ran and he got to the garden gate and through the gate and down the path to his front door. And behind him, he heard the gate. And a voice out of the darkness said, "What can I do with my long, bony finger and my big, rubbery lips?" And Sam fumbled in his pocket for his key and he tried to get it in the door and he couldn't get the door open and he fiddled and he fumbled and eventually he got the door and he burst into the hall and he ran up the stairs and he jumped into his room and he jumped into bed and... And then the bedroom door creaked open and silhouetted against the light of the landing was a shape. And out of the darkness came a voice. "What can I do with my long, bony finger and my big, rubbery lips?" And Sam thought, "I'm in my bedroom. I'm in my bed. I'm supposed to be safe here." And he plucked up his courage and he said, "I don't know. What can you do with your long, bony finger and your big, rubbery lips?" And the shape drew closer and closer and closer and said, and his dad's voice said, "I told you to be back before dark." And that's the story of the long bony finger. And if you liked it, wait until dusk and tell your friends in a creepy place. And hopefully they'll like it too. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.